I do not think there is a single Minnesota Democrat with the courage to stand up and say what Gavin Newsom said in that podcast yesterday, even if they really believe it. I don't think a single one would say it because they know it'd be career suicide. And I am sick and tired of the litmus test version of politics that we have, that if you're not 100% on 100% of the issues, well, you're a phony. You're a phony. You're just like, you're not one of us. You're out. When did it become like this? It did not used to be this way. You could have pro-life Republicans and pro-choice Republicans. There was a time not that long ago when the nation's most prominent Democrats thought that the official version of marriage should be reserved for a man and a woman. And that was allowed within the Democratic Party. Today, we're at a point where if you are not all in on an issue that America is not all in on, you're out. You're a bigot. Is this getting us anywhere? Is this making trans people safer? Is this making them have less discrimination in the workplace? I don't think so. I do think we can have open conversation about these things. And the way Gavin Newsom talked about it, former California governor, now having podcasts where he's having conversations with people that he disagrees with on the issues, imagine. I think this is the way. This is the way. The question is, do people here in Minnesota, do they want it? Texters at 651-461-9226. It's fine if he follows through and isn't just trying to get the moderate or independent vote. Why? What's wrong with trying to get the moderate independent? Now, I suppose if you're saying that, if he's just saying this and then goes a different way when he's in office, that is the kind of hypocrisy that I don't have patience for. But I do think we should be more understanding and applaud people who change their opinions. Steve, who's watching us on Facebook, you can watch us on YouTube or on Facebook at the WCCO radio channel, says there is no moderate Democrat in Minnesota. I think there are moderate Democrats, but I think they're afraid to come forward because they're going to get torched by the far left. Let's go to Marty in St. Paul. Marty, thanks for calling CCO. What's your take? Is this a form of left-wing politics that you'd be interested in?
You mean the ones being espoused by Gavin Newsom?
That's right. Yeah.
Some other. Okay. I see, Jason. Well, I covered politics at the Capitol for a number of years. You and I bumped into each other up there a few times. But I would say this. Minnesotans like balance. Generally speaking, the state has become purplish over time.
Yeah.
And less blue, obviously. But the one point that you made that I think should resonate with everybody and should not be rejected by people unless they want to find themselves in the state of hypocrisy is that you reserve the right to learn new things and to be able to change your mind based on new information that comes in. That's how we evolve as a species. I think when it comes to progressiveness, there is a big battle in the Democratic Party right now, sort of the heart and soul of exactly what Newsom is speaking to. And that is, did the left go too far in sort of, kowtowing to the far fringes, what people call fringes of the party? Others in the party might just call that, hey, let's respect people from all walks of life.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not really the fringe. It's sort of a crappy way to talk about it, right? The fringe or the extreme this or that. It's just people with a different.
I think it's easy. It's convenient to say that and to pin people in that box.
I'm guilty of that. That's true.
Me too.
Yeah,
but when it comes to the right, pinning the right down. But I also feel like we deserve in Minnesota the opportunity to reframe the conversation and say, if you want to control politics, if you want to sit in that big seat, you have to come some distance to the people. And if you ignore what your constituents want, you will find yourself either out of a job or never being employed in one in politics. And then you lose the power to do anything. So it's the old adage, Jason, you could argue with your boss every day and fight with them, but would you rather stick around and change things, or would you rather, go look for a job?
Oh,
you know where I'm coming from, brother?
That's such a great way to say it. Thanks, Marty. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's exactly it, right? This is the way for both of these political parties to get some of us who feel like there's no home for us to be open to discussion, to not sort of force me to come to a spot where I'm not ready to go to, and to not make it like, well, you're denying my existence. No. Being forceful and direct and saying we screwed up. We should have been more vocal about the need for policing and shouldn't have entertained the idea of defunding. Now, should we find a better way to police? Yes, and Republicans need to stop being so much of a pain in the butt about the idea that we could find better ways to police. Like, come on. There is a way to be a Democrat, I think, and deviate on some of these issues. Texter, I'm a 31-year-old trans woman. I'm 6'4", 220. I know I would have a huge advantage over a cis woman in any sport. That being said, a trans woman who started hormones before puberty and had surgical changes has no advantage, as they have never made testosterone, so just use common sense and make certain exceptions for those who transitioned at 13 and 14. Maybe that's where we end up, right? I have said that my view on this issue is that if you, and I'm all for adults, if they feel sort of the pain that comes with feeling like you've been assigned the wrong gender or the wrong sex. There is medical science. There are options for that. I do think that sometimes in life we make trade-offs. And so perhaps the trade-off is that you don't play gendered sports. I don't know. It seems pretty simple to me, but, then I'm not in that circumstance. I think what largely has happened is we have a lot of people who actually have no skin in this game, who are making this an issue because I'm not questioning how genuine they feel about it, but I think we need more acknowledgement that there's open debate on some of these topics.